You've both got injury news at the moment. What is the latest around Max King?
Yeah, last week, I think late on the weekend, he's in rehab. He's been progressing really well. We're planning around 17, 18 return. He's in really good headspace, and then he just had a grab in the knee decelerating from a run through. So not dissimilar to what he felt before. So we thought we'd got to the root cause, but clearly we need to go and do more investigation. In saying that, like for the Saints fan, he's been able to run in the ensuing days, but just at what speed. So we've been able to condition him, but we need to get to the root cause. So it's not 6 weeks, it's about 6 years. So we would love him back, but we'll just find the solution.
Is it root cause surgery? Is that what it is? Or?
No, he'll go and do some scans under load, because it seems to be a mechanical issue, because structurally as they've gone in and there's some bone spurs that they removed, and obviously he has had an ACL, but the surgeons haven't been able to identify anything else structurally, so we thought we got to the root cause. But clearly when moving under load in a certain mechanism, there's something grabbing, and they need to figure that out.
How frustrating is that for him?
Well, you could imagine. Very challenging. We talk about mental health a lot, so I see him when it's going well, and then I walk into the gym and I see him, and you see a heaviness around him, and my job's to offer that support. He's very determined, but we let him decompress, and then we lean in, and the job is to find solutions, and it's an abnormal environment, isn't it? But when he's back, no one will remember this, and when he's clunking and kicking goals, we'll all be excited.
And Sam De Koning, Chris, what's the verdict come back as?
He had surgery this afternoon, so I haven't got the update as to how that went, but the assumption was that it was pretty simple. It was an AC issue with his shoulder. He's optimistic that it's a 4-week thing. Some of the others think it might stretch out a week or 2 or 3 longer than that. But it's effectively, it doesn't feel this way to him at the moment, but we've got a bye coming up. He won't miss that much footy. We're optimistic that he'll be firing for the last part of the season, certainly back well and truly before finals if we qualify.
What about I'm interested, I watched your side on Saturday and it looked like a joyful experience, and it may not feel that way because you're coaching and you're coaching against an Essendon side that, in hindsight we look at it and they are where they're at, and every single one of them, the players looked invested and enjoying the moment. And then I watched your side, and obviously it's hard work on Thursday night. So how does that translate for you as a coach in terms of still want to find a way to make sure that this is an enjoyable process? But when I look at the two, and you're clearly on different paths, I mean, that's obvious for everyone.
Yeah.
But from a coaching point of view, how does that sit?
Well, I've got to have a levelness in review and post-game and acknowledge the frustration. We've had moments this year, it's been really good. We acknowledge what we're doing. But we had Jack Sinclair's 200th, and on Friday night we all got together and we really enjoyed each other's company and watched the VFL, and we come in and we try not complicate it too much. I never even knew that was being filmed, so that's interesting. Maybe our media department might let me know next time. But yeah, there was certainly no ranting around. It was like, let's gather ourselves. We're fine. We'll come in and just put our shoulder to the wheel. So the enjoyment piece is about a level process. It's easy to have fun when you're winning, right? Like, winning's fun. Yeah. But when they're doing the work, I guarantee you they're stressed and they're working hard. The enjoyment comes after it, but obviously when you have some dominant wins. But it's the price. Someone's got to do their hard yards and we've got to grow, and we've invested a lot, and we're confident we'll see the other side.
The way you spoke post-game was pragmatic and to the point, and I read it and it made a hell of a lot of sense to me. And it says that you've got to be patient, there's no shortcut. I'm not a St Kilda fan though. Yeah. So how do you sell hope still and keep them invested and keep them wanting to turn up, knowing that it is, as you say, there's no silver bullet?
Well, I think there's plenty of hope. We were in the top quartile, in the top 4 for age, experience as a club, 21 22, and winning 10 games in 11 games, full cap, maxed. With that profile, you need to play finals. We weren't. and we've shifted. And the next year, in 15 years, and there was a lot of injuries that year, but no one had played more kids under 21, 130 odd games, and played finals in 15 years. Hawthorn did it the next year, and we're now in like the 4th or 5th youngest in the comp. So over 2 years, I think we're top 2 for debutants, 22 and under games in. That's against North Melbourne. Richmond will have more than likely Taroo this week, and we'll have the second most taboos. But it's not about that. So I hear it bubbles quickly, don't we? We have pre the Melbourne game, I went the tags and I said, well, we're not as young as we've been. So I put a bit of, expectation on. We played well and we win and no one says anything, but you have a loss, and it is challenging coming off the bye, and they're a very good team. I thought the half-time bar turnovers, we were well in the game, particularly the first quarter. And there was someone said I gave them a spray quarter time. I couldn't have been more positive. Forget the scoreboard. We're doing everything right, clearances, territory, but we're turning over, not trusting the contest. And that was written angry, Ross. I actually texted the journalist and said, I'm really disappointed in that. So he had his perspective, but that's okay. I never do it, but I was like, wow, I couldn't have been more positive, and it's angry Ross, right? So it tells me the narrative people are trying to paint around losses, which I don't enjoy, but that's the environment and the landscape, so that's okay. So, but the last couple of weeks have been a little bit older, but there's plenty of hope. We played finals in 23 with that. We pushed last year, so we have been trying to run a dual narrative and not just throw it all out, and we've been trying to win as well as play a lot of kids, which we have. And when it goes right, we're really well. And the environment, we have some older players that are in form, and we need to play them and give them opportunity. And if that criticism comes with that, well, that's okay, because Wilson had to go back. We played him 32 games straight. He fell away a little bit, like Philippou the year before. And he said, I need to go back. I need to develop. And after 4 weeks, I said, I'll bring you up. He goes, I'm not ready. Give me a couple more. And then he come back and... So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But someone's got to do the hard yards. And we're doing them. So we've got picks, we've got salary cap, and we're in the market. And we're blooding young kids. But their part is they've got to do the Shannon there. You've got to develop, you've got to be in, you've got to work, and you've got to improve, because there's no guarantee. We all know that.
Do you need the club, the team, to look enticing by the end of the year, that the players that you're trying to attract can see that success?
Well, it doesn't hurt.
Do you think you look like that at the moment?
Well, I think we did against Melbourne. I see grand final teams, back-to-back grand finals with 5 wins. It's a tough comp. And when we beat, I think, Port Ella over there, we were 3rd youngest in the comp, and the Dockers, and they were young, and So look, I get it, but we've been very competitive. We'd like to be better than what we are, but we also we'll have our moments, but we're getting feedback. We need to get better.
I think if I could just add, it probably, listening to that, helps give a little bit of perspective to the frustration that teams who have been... It's a really hard environment in which to... No one likes the word rebuild, but to sort of reset, because most teams are really good. Ideally, you're rebuilding when you've got 6 or 7 or 8 other teams rebuilding with you, so at least you've got some more winnable games. And I'm not talking about St Kilda necessarily. But I think the observation when you see teams who have been down the bottom or do have access to academies and access to talent, that's the frustrating bit, because it's just it's never been harder in the history of the AFL. So these kind of little inequities make a big, big difference.
What's the frustrating bit?
Well, I think that if you're in the messy middle, you get no help.
Right.
And
you're either down or up.
Yeah, if you're the best place to be is on top, and there's an argument that the next best place to be is right down the bottom. And that's a debate that I think should continue to be had through the competition.